Destiny's wife is being passed around like a fleshlight, and that is what is causing the fucking schools to be shot up. Kids are fucking dying.
I think it's shameful. How dare you? How dare you show up here offering anything but sympathy? Because we're familiar with what happened in Tennessee. We're less familiar with the reasons why. But the reason was that at any given time in society, there are about 20% of people who are just fucking nuts. And those people will glom on to whatever the fad is for people who are fucking nuts. So the current fucking nuts is trannies. You can see in the social trends when you plot anorexia and bulimia, which was the big thing when I was growing up, against the new nuts. That there's basically about 1 in 5 people who are just not really all there.
What did Kanye see in this guy?
And will kind of do whatever. But when you hand those people, those unstable and dangerous people, a victimhood script, when you give them a license.
I haven't heard of him. Do you know him?
Yeah.
I only heard of him from when Kanye first met with him or whatever, and it was all on the news.
He's been.
I know he's like gay and
no, he's been around a long time. He used to do like the feminist pwn videos.
You watched that? You seen that?
I have, yeah, back in the day.
I never watched that. I know he was a big Trump guy and he was gay as well. I know he was gay, and then he converted to Catholic, but he is, I think, ethnically Jewish, unrelated.
To commit violence in the name of their supposed identities instead of giving them the treatment and the love and the prayers that they need. You turn those people into killers.
Cut it out.
You turn those people into time bombs. And there used to be something in America that would protect against that.
Ye just gave me the script.
It was Christianity. I think it's shameful that anybody would show up.
Isn't it a little on the nose? I'm sorry to pause this, but isn't it a little on the nose that he's the fucking red one and he's the blue one? Like,
I think that's the point, right?
Yeah, but
so soon after a tragedy caused by the kind of ideologies that you support, and do anything but offer sympathy and condolences and celebrate the ideology that has protected us against this sort of thing for so long. It's outside the scope of our evening this evening to prove or disprove the truth of Christianity or Christ or whatever. But I'll make a few points.
Or whatever.
There is no... But I'll make a few points.
What?
Only trans people shoot up schools? Interesting. I'm just wondering what they're saying.
There is no America without Christ. And the reason for that is that this is an intrinsically and fundamentally Christian nationalist country, by which we mean it's built into the architecture of the nation. There's no getting away from it. You can lie about it. You can pridefully claim that, you can be good people without Christ. You can't. You're just inheriting a system of good and evil from the culture in which you grew up, which accords with the natural law. America was founded, as Adams told us, with a constitution that is wholly unsuited to the government.
America was founded by Freemasons. Don't listen to this guy.
Of anyone but a moral and religious people. And when he said religious, he meant Christian, although he himself was wandered through various different kinds of heresy.
Heresy.
What Adams said was that this country is, that its founding documents, that its founding architecture, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, were wholly and fundamentally unsuited to the governance of anything but a moral and religious people. Do you think that America is comprised of a moral and religious people today? Obviously it is not.
Wait, this guy is British, isn't he?
Something.
And what he meant specifically was Christianity, because the way that America is set up outsources morality to Christianity. And without it, it doesn't work. Because jury trials don't work when people vote with race instead of conscience and truth. A society doesn't work when people don't obey contracts, don't obey their word, when they're oath breakers. The architecture of America rests fundamentally on the bedrock of Christianity, without which the entire thing falls apart. And that's exactly what's happening. And you don't have to take my word for it. You don't even have to take Adams's word for it, but one of your own Supreme Court justices.
What kind of glasses holders are that?
Yeah, like.
Are we serious?
No, but honestly, who does he think he is?
Are we serious with this, guys?
What did you just do?
This
Somebody who was
fucking the glasses holders.
Not even my grandma would put something like
God.
that. You would wear those. He couldn't pull it off. He could. You know who could pull that off? Cardi. Imagine Cardi comes in with some fucking grandma, like,
dude,
curly.
Imagine Cardi comes in with a pearl necklace. Oh my God, dude! Imagine if Cardi came. Dude, imagine if Cardi came into this hotel room with nothing on but a pearl necklace and fucking glasses. Oh my God, dude! Oh my God!
Enough,
I'd be dripping from the fucking jowls.
We're talking about trans kids here getting killed or something.
Was famously left-wing. Rehnquist, I think it was. I can't bother to look it up there. He said that everything in America presupposes the legal system, the social system, the government. Everything in America presupposes the existence of the Judeo-Christian God. Without that, it all comes tumbling down. And without that, it is coming tumbling down. That we should not only restore Christianity in culture, but require it in public life.
Like, come on, bro, we get it.
Don't have him.
Terrible, man.
Drugs and fornication, kind of thing he does with his wife. You know, offering her around town like she's common property.
Wait, what?
America doesn't work when we behave that way, because we'll all just end up murdering each other.
Facts.
That's all.
Destiny, you have 10 minutes.
That's terrible.
Come on, bro. There's a
Not every day I'm
mic
progressive.
holder.
Oh, what? Yeah? Yeah? Oh, nice. Okay. I'm not used to arguing for more freedoms against conservatives on stage, but I guess that's where we're at right now with the conservative movement, or whatever part of the conservative movement this is. Today, we've got viewers gathered from all across the world.
How's the mic so in focus, but he's not? What does that say?
Because he's blue-pilled. He's sharing his wife around town, and that's what's causing these problems, I think. It's all Destiny's fault. I agree.
Milo, where Milo is going to argue that we should turn the USA into an isolated, authoritarian, zealously religious country. I think that technology is Pandora's box that has changed this country and this world forever, and I don't think we're ever going back to the days of public squares and mail service by horse. Cultural exchange is happening, whether you like it or not, quite literally at the speed of light. Even right now, potentially hundreds of thousands or even millions of people around the world are listening to me and Milo have this debate. The only way to stop this type of cultural exchange is through the militant authoritarianism that Milo is talking about on this stage. That might be through his being against the First Amendment, that might be against his taking away of the Second Amendment, and that might be through the institution of a state religion. This means the destruction of our freedom of speech, our ability to produce media, satire, and comedy, and our ability to communicate openly on the social media platforms we've all unfortunately grown addicted to. After Milo gets his way,
that's fucking funny. They keep putting chat.
Abolishes the First Amendment. Is he going to be the one deciding who we can or cannot make fun of on
Twitter? Because it's like,
so we're really going to return to how it was before birth control, before women had the right to work, before gay people were allowed to get married, before we were allowed the ability to freely worship whatever God we wanted, or abstain from worship altogether. I reckon that we cannot close Pandora's box. Christian nationalism, as it stands today, isn't even a coherent idea.
You know, it's going to be one day where, like, politicians, like presidential candidates, are, like, using AI and stuff to write their speeches, right?
The proponents will argue whether there's an ethnic component, whether one needs to be Catholic or not, and whether one needs to even be a Christian or a supporter at all in order to idolize somebody for a Christian nationalist ideology. How many more porn stars does Donald Trump need to work his way through behind his wife's back before Christian nationalists stop worshiping him as their savior? As small as Christian nationalism is as a movement, even with it being as small as it is, there is still...
Pretty sure the whole thing behind... Firstly, Trump should go through a lot more porn stars before we start worshiping as his savior. He's not done enough, okay? In my opinion. Secondly, wait, what was I saying?
Endless infighting. Anyone who's taken a gander recently at Milo, Ali Alexander, or Fuentes' Telegram account can attest to that. And now, with an already fractured and fighting minority movement, some want to put even more restrictions, such as race, lineage, sexuality, LGBT status, or geography on who ought to be allowed to join their movement. The glory days of Christianity are largely over. While the number of worshipers have ebbed and flowed through time, it's impossible for us to return to where we came from. In 1999, 70% of Americans were part of a church, synagogue, or mosque. And just 20 years later, in 2020, according to Pew Research, that number has fallen to just 47%, a minority of the population for the first time in U.S. history. We need to be realistic about the coming years. We need to help our young men and women find purpose in the world and stop pretending like some Christian nationalism is the answer. We need to find ways to get our young people engaged with their friends, family, and their communities in ways that synergize with the technological explosion the entire world has experienced. If Christian nationalists want to continue to practice Christianity in America, then I say we let them. However, we should never allow them to take away our right not to do the same.
Thank you. That was like way more tolerable than fucking whatever the hell Milo just said.
We will now have 5 minutes of rebuttals from each of you guys. So we'll start with Milo. You have 5 minutes.
Firstly,
What's he gonna say?
firstly, bitch.
What's he gonna say?
Thank you. If the movement, such as it is, I didn't realize there was one, but if Christian nationalism is not yet adequately defined, it's because nobody used it before 2 years ago, which it seems to me to be perfectly reasonable. Trump is not a religious leader in any sense, and you're making a classic mistake of people who don't understand religion, don't understand God, and don't understand their own country when you say, hold Trump up as a kind of moral example. Render unto Caesar. We don't expect that our presidents should be like Jesus because they're not here to do Jesus' job. So, no. It's interesting you talk about women's rights. I mean, Christianity is the... Sorry, I mean, you know, I just don't know how hard to go in, really. I mean, you know, you're talking about the religion that gave women consent in marriage. You're talking about the religion that gave women the right to say no, that elevated them from chattel into human beings. You want to return women to chattel. You want women to be like your wife, passed around town. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to take moral lectures on the rights of women from somebody who treats their...
I want his wife to be passed around town. When do I get my fucking turn? Destiny. I'm calling you out, Destiny. When do I get my fucking turn?
If you move to Miami, you'll probably find her. Milo's like...
Supposedly their wife, in what ought to be a holy sacrament, as a communal sex toy. Give me a break.
He's so offended by the prospect. He's so offended by the prospect of Destiny's wife.
I don't think he's offended. He's just trying to like twist the knife. He's just trying to be like a bitch.
But he seems so like attacked by a person.
He's like attacked about everything. He's like being a little baby, bro. He's like been crying this whole time.
But I think he's really like, where's my fucking turn? He's like, you fucking pass your wife around like communal property, and I haven't had one fucking ounce of pussy yet. I haven't had one fucking whiff of pussy.
He doesn't want
Give me a break.
We don't know.
I'm not going to take moral lectures from somebody who, for all intents and purposes, may as well have a fleshlight instead of a wife, who demeans and besmirches her honor.
So hard on this point. Like,
he's like, guys, kids have been getting fucking killed over this. But more importantly, Destiny's fucking wife, Destiny's wife is being passed around like a fucking fleshlight, and that is what is causing the fucking schools to be shot up. Kids are fucking dying.
Beyond that, he's like, look, everybody, okay, we need Christian nationalism because Destiny's wife is a fucking whore. She's the problem. Yeah, exactly.
Do you know why?
You're treating her like chattel. Chattel. You might as well have a fleshlight.
Who speaks about a woman who should be treated with the reverence and respect and love that we treat our own mothers with.
Yeah, fuck it.
Like she was something you could buy.
I get it.
Like she's something that just to get off with.
He really is harping on this. He's like, how dare you come here to fucking Mississippi, or sorry, to Tennessee
with anything but
condolences and sympathism. Am I fucking kidding me? Sympathy. Your wife's a whore. Suck my dick.
Passed around to other men while you watch. Flicking yourself off.
Is this real? Like, does he actually, like, is this true? Like, look at...
What, Destiny's wife?
Destiny
Destiny is, they have an open relationship.
Come on, bitch. Come on. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. That's retarded.
The relationship is retarded?
Yeah.
So forgive me if I decline to take any lectures from you on women's bloody rights.
Retarded, yeah.
As for gay rights, no thanks.
One man.
I didn't want them when I was having sex with men, and I don't want them now.
See?
Because when he was having sex with men.
Exactly, but he
but like when? Previous.
As for gay rights,
he was gay.
Watch. Flicking yourself off.
Everybody knows he's gay. Flicking yourself off.
So forgive me if I decline to take any lectures from you on women's bloody rights.
Bloody rights.
As for gay rights, no thanks. I didn't want them when I was having sex with men, and I don't want them now.
But Destiny wants them. Because he's gay. He's gay as well. I think he's bisexual, actually.
Maybe. I mean...
No, I'm pretty sure he
tracks, yeah.
Catholicism and Islam are growing, in case you aren't familiar with the world outside these borders. And the reason for that is that everybody sees what a bloody mess we're all in, thanks to globalization, thanks to the information economy, thanks to the kinds of changes that he says are inexorable, because, like a lot of undereducated people, he doesn't have much of a grasp of the world before he was born.
Well, also, to be fair, Christians gave gay people more rights than any other religion on earth. You think the Muslims are giving gays rights?
No, it's not true. Yeah, it's definitely not. But...
Oh, I guess I can't say those guys, but they did give gays rights. Yeah, let's not go down for that.
I think if you were to glance a little further back, whether it were to ancient Greece or Rome or the Holy Roman Empire, you would see plenty of examples in history, or even, dare I say it, the Weimar Republic. A little bit closer to our own era, in which an era of rampant sexual degeneracy was indeed replaced by some quite stern social rules, to put it mildly. History is replete with examples of what happens when the public gets sick of people like you fucking everything up, breaking everything apart, and destroying all the things that make society precious, that make relationships work.
First thing to do with jail.
In fact, if you are to look back in history as far as Greece and Rome, you might say that history is really the story of how people like you, given undue influence and larger platforms than they deserve, continually express views that are so far outside of the mainstream and so out of step with what ordinary people think that you have to be regularly slaughtered, and new governments have to be installed, and coups have to be engaged in, just to keep people like you in line, because otherwise we'd all be dead. So I'm sorry, but I'm certainly not going to take any kind of moral lectures from you on anything.
Like chat.
But I've given you a few examples of why everything you just said is complete and absolute nonsense. But let me tell you, if your memory stretches back, and as you're at university, you're an educated person, it should be further than 1980, you absolutely can put it back in the box. And we must, and we should, because otherwise America is done.
All right, Destiny, you have 5 minutes for your rebuttal.
Wait.
I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to respond to. I think it's a little funny that apparently I'm so far outside of what people regularly think, despite the fact that I'm pretty sure I'm giving you a bigger audience than you've had the past several years post your cancellation. But I see that this is what the dying
Come on, Ye gave him a platform, let's be honest. I don't even know of him because...
throes, I guess, of an internet provocateur, as he self-described himself back when you were writing on the alt-right, and when you were writing on Trump. Now I guess you're not writing on guys anymore, because apparently you prayed away the gay, so whatever you're doing now. But I won't get into all that. I'll take the high road, despite the fact that you're one of the most obsessed with my wife's vagina gay guys I've ever seen.
This is like... Forgive me for making this.
Just saying it.
Forgive me for making
it. Thinking it, right?
No. Forgive me for making this comparison.
What is this like?
But this is just like Trump versus Hillary, bro. It's like lesser of two evils type shit, bro. I don't know who to choose.
Which one's Hillary? They're both. No, this is like two Hillarys.
You think so?
Yeah, because Trump was like at least funny.
I'll kind of reiterate what I said before, I guess. I don't know how long we're going to do this, but yeah, I think that Christian nationalism is largely a joke. I guess you can kind of see that the figures that are proponents of Christian nationalism, like Christian nationalism, are largely jokes. They don't really have any serious positions. They just sit up here trying to provoke. They really have nothing to offer the public, nothing to offer the public discourse, nothing to offer the people that are, I guess, trying to join and leave these movements. Because obviously, as we can see online, they are ever fracturing and ever infighting more and more every single day. Yeah.
Sub like Judas.
All right. We'll move on to the questions right now. The person who I will direct a question towards has 5 minutes to respond, and then the opponent has 3 minutes to respond to that. And the first question is from Milo. As we know, Christianity has a lot of denominations.
I don't want to hear Milo. I want to hear this.
Versions of Christianity.
Because I think most of the best satirists were Christian Europeans, weren't they? And before that, they were pagans. And, you know, we live in a very Hellenistic kind of a inheritance.
Yeah, this guy
and
is like on
complete and total bollocks. And you've been doing a lot of complete and total bollocks, assigning positions to me that I don't hold. And
not by talking to people that want to look back hundreds or thousands of years to what society used to look like before there was Gucci and hairdressers.
I could live without both if it meant that you would be left on a mountainside somewhere, your parents wondering which god they'd pissed off, which is exactly what would have happened in a pre-Christian civilization to something like you.
Probably would have left the gays there before people like me.
Well, I don't think you can tell when it pops out whether it's going to like or not. Maybe if it's your kid, but I'm sure you'll ensure that's the case.
I mean, you know all about kids liking, huh? Isn't that...
Would I? Would I? Tell us more about that. Would I? Because that's a pretty big allegation. Would I?
Would you what?
Would I know about that?
Seems like it. Isn't that what you got canceled for?
No, I got canceled for talking about the fact that I was a victim of clerical sexual abuse. I was...
So about, like, little boys liking, right?
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, yeah.
There you go. You got there eventually. It's okay.
Okay.
I can tell you're coming down right now, but I'll walk you through the rest of my jokes if you need me to.
No, fair enough. Okay. You're bringing it. Fine. It's just a shame Father Michael's dead. He would have liked that. I think if I don't know that it makes me an expert on kids liking dick being raped by a priest, but if you want some comedy lessons afterwards, I'm happy to. I'll give you 20 minutes. What was the question? Sorry, I was so bored.
What did you talk about?
The question was, some would argue that most people are naturally drawn to some sort of faith or belief in a higher power. How would you, Destiny, prevent your society from inevitably becoming a religious society and thus being run by the same organizing sex ideas?
I think it's a bit lazy to say, as people often do, that we now have a kind of alternate sort of progressive religion. I don't think that progressivism really functions like a religion. It's true that when you take God out of things, you don't just sort of, get rid of him in the same way that when you get rid of a king, you don't really get rid of the king. You still are ruled by people that you have no power over. The difference is that in America, you don't know their names because they lurk behind that flag, rubbing their hands and making money off you and getting you addicted to things. You don't know their names, so you can't assassinate them. One reason monarchy is better.
Touching kids like Milo, Yiannopoulos.
I think...
well, I guess Milo...
Sorry, one question.
So, concluding thoughts on that one? Any thoughts? Do you want to debate that? The blue pill or the red pill?
I'm trying to kill myself.
Yeah.
I'm choosing the fucking...
So it's like you can
I'm choosing the fucking cyanide pill. Fuck that.
Yeah, because it's like you can choose to be retarded and gay, or you can be a cuck and... Gay. Whoa.
Make sure to check us out, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Hit that notification bell.
Hit that bell. Hit it.
Beep.
That's a little bit on the nose, bro.
San Antonio.